So this past season, the Atlanta Falcons did what they do best, which is choke or lose, whatever word you want to use, at the highest level, like they always do. And I believe this season marks number 9 in terms of them not making it to the playoffs. I think this is the 9th season of them not making it to the postseason. Week 1, they started off at home against the Buccaneers, a divisional rival. The first drive of the game for the Falcons, they start off hot, right? Michael Penix Jr. hits Bijan Robinson on a slant route for 11 yards. And then he hits Bijan in the backfield off of play action from the pistol, and he ends up breaking one for 50 yards. And I'm like, okay, well, look at this offense, right? I thought that there would be a drop-off because they did not get any reps during the preseason. But then as the game goes on, they're conservative. They're not taking a whole lot of shots down the field. So fast forward to the fourth quarter, Atlanta has a chance to tie the game, send it to overtime, but Younghoe Koo misses the field goal, and the Falcons end up losing. And going back to that first drive, they were pretty much conservative on that first drive too. It just seemed that they were more explosive because Bijan broke one for 50 yards. Week 2, Sunday night against Minnesota. Rookie J.J. McCarthy gets harassed by the defense. The defense dominates the Vikings. McCarthy got sacked 6 times. Atlanta forced 3 fumbles, recovered 1. Billy Bowman had a pick. Xavier Watts had a pick. After a disappointing loss in Week 1, Atlanta bounces back and gets back into the winning column. Week 3, they get blanked by the Carolina Panthers. They do not score a single point against the Panthers. They lose 30-0. Week 4, they bounce back against the Washington Commanders. I think in that game they took advantage of the situations the Commanders were in. No Jaden Daniels and no Terry McLaurin. So they end up winning that game 34-27. Monday night, Buffalo comes to town. They show up, beat the Bills 24-14. Bijan has a great game against the Bills. And then this is where the ship started to sink. They go on a 5-game losing streak, starting with San Francisco, a team who was wounded, a team that didn't have their star players. They lose 20-10, come home the next week, get smacked by the Dolphins 34-10. Go up to New England, which I think a lot of people, including myself, thought that the Patriots were going to absolutely mollywop them. They have a chance to win the game, but the kicker, Parker Romo, misses the extra point, and despite him missing the extra point, Atlanta still has a chance to make something happen. They don't capitalize. They end up losing. They go to Brazil or Germany, wherever the fuck, to play the Colts. Have a chance to beat the Colts. Have a chance to get Daniel Jones in that offense off the field, but for whatever reason, on a long 3rd and 21, the Falcons decide not to blitz, and Daniel Jones scrambles for 19 yards, and eventually the Colts get the first down, and then the Falcons go on to lose the game. Week 11, they lose to the Panthers. They end up getting swept by the Panthers. 30-27, Bryce Young looked like the superstar that Carolina wants him to look like. But in that game, Michael Penix Jr. gets hurt. So they go up to New Orleans, a rivalry. They beat the Saints with Kirk Cousins under center. And by the way, he was under center against the Dolphins. He did not play well, but he played well against Minnesota, against New Orleans. They ended up winning the game. And these wins that the Falcons are having, I'm thinking, okay, I'm actually foolishly thinking positive about this team. I'm thinking that, okay, they're going to go on the road. They're going to beat the Niners. Okay, so they lost to the Niners, but they're going to take care of a team like the Dolphins. They beat the Saints. They ended the 5-game losing streak, so this is going to snap them back into a good mood. They're going to start feeling confident, a lot better about themselves. They're going to go up to the Jets and beat the Jets. Well, that didn't happen. They end up losing to the Jets. They have a chance to win that game, but some crucial drop passes late in the 4th. They were not able to capitalize and make the plays, so they end up losing to the Jets. And then the season finally implodes against Seattle. They get destroyed. 37-9. That's when they got eliminated from the playoffs. And then all of a sudden they want to start playing football. And Kyle Pitts wants to start playing football. Tampa Bay get a win on the road. Kyle Pitts has the greatest game of his Falcons career. 11 receptions, 166 yards, 3 touchdowns. They beat the Cardinals, they beat the Rams, and they beat the Saints. Now, I did not see the Cardinals, I did not see the Saints because they're eliminated, and I wasn't going to spend my Sundays watching a team who wants to play football after being eliminated from postseason contention. But they show up and beat the Rams, though. I saw the Rams on Monday Night Football, and then they beat the Saints. So they ended the season on a 4-game winning streak. The frustrating thing about this team was the offense and the play calling. That was just head scratching. Having plays where Tyler Algier is getting halfback tosses on third downs, constantly throwing the ball to Drake London, being too Drake London heavy in the passing game, not utilizing play action, constantly having Michael Penix in the pistol. And there are talks about Penix and why he wasn't utilized under center. Could it be because he wasn't able to get under center because of his recent ACL injuries? Could it be because he wasn't able to comprehend the playbook, the certain plays that involved him to be under center? Was he not comfortable of doing plays that involved him being in play action, bootlegs, waggles? Or could it be because he just didn't want to be under center and the coaches said, okay, if you don't want to be under center, then you don't have to. And then Kirk Cousins comes in and he's under center and the offense looks different. They're utilizing play action. They're running the football more. And other play calling that drove me nuts. Plays that involve screens. Why are you throwing screens to Kyle Pitts? Why in third and longs are you checking it down to Kyle Pitts and you're expecting him to break one or two tackles to get to the first down? Why is he not going down the field on third and long situations? Constantly giving the ball to Drake London. Now, in fairness, it's not like the wide receiving core around Drake wasn't really spectacular. David Sills, he had trouble getting open and creating separation. Darnell Mooney, he had a rough year, had some drop passes. Kyle Pitts, I thought he showed some effort on some of his routes, but he had some drop passes. He had a key drop pass in that Colts game that could have went for a touchdown, but still, it seemed like he wasn't all the way there until they were eliminated, and this apparently is his contract year to get some money. So now all of a sudden he wants to start playing like the guy that a lot of people thought he would be for the past, 5 seasons now? So, I want to talk about a few people real quick. Raheem Morris. When the Falcons finished the season on a 4-game winning streak, I was worried that they were going to bring him back. I didn't want Raheem Morris to begin with, but I tried to stay positive. I kept an open mind to it. He has Super Bowl experience. He was part of that 2021 Rams team, and I thought maybe he could bring that experience to Atlanta and help turn things around. But the thing is, though, when he won his championships, he was on the defensive side. He was a defensive quality control coach for the Buccaneers back in 2003. So he was a defensive-minded guy, for one. If he was the defensive coordinator for the Falcons, I thought that would have been a great hire because he does seem to have a great defensive mind. But as the head coach, I didn't see it. Watching him on Sundays, he's looking up at the jumbo screen or the halo that's in the bins and not showing a whole lot of emotion, poor clock management, not taking timeouts when you need to. And I don't think he's that type of coach to where if a young player, especially a quarterback, messes up, he can go over to him and talk to him and try to calm him down and tell him what he needs to do or what to look at on the next play or when they bring a certain look, how to make the adjustments. I don't think he's that type of coach. Jeff Ulbrich. Falcons made it clear that they want to keep him on the roster. They did not have him talk to anybody. I thought he did a good job as the defensive coordinator. The best part about this team, if there's anything to be excited about, it seems like you finally have a defense. You finally have a pass rush. You seem to have two young studs in James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker, who can get after the quarterback. I think Jalen Walker is also good at stopping the run as well. Now, you do need to find some interior defensive linemen. You got to find some guys who can stop the run and also get pressure on the quarterback and make him uncomfortable. But even though Jeff did a good job, the defense still had one too many lows, okay? Not being able to contain Christian McCaffrey, allowing Bryce Young to have his only best game of the season. You had a chance to beat Indianapolis. You choose not to blitz. You don't bring pressure, which was working for you in that game. Key moments where the defense had to get off the field and make a big stop. They didn't do it. So Jeff didn't really have his defense prepared, and he called some bad plays at times. I like Jeff. Hopefully, he'll clean up those mistakes next season. Matt Ryan, the president of football operations. When I initially heard this hire, I said to myself, fuck. Now I gotta hear the Matt Ryan haters once again. It's been nice not having him in Atlanta because I don't have to hear the Matt Ryan haters spew nonsense. I enjoyed watching him on TV and being involved in the media. It seemed like that's where he belonged. But now, since he's back with the franchise, I'm gonna have to hear, and if this team doesn't do well, which, understandable, but I'm just gonna have to hear just stupid shit like, here's the reason why this franchise will never get over the hump. As long as Matt Ryan is associated with it, this franchise will never be a Super Bowl contending franchise. T.I. Man, we should have got Cam Newton. Bro. He should have went to New England, and he should have came here. We would have been better off. You know what I'm saying? We need a guy who has that energy, man. Who brings that energy, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's shit like that. Just stupid shit. Matt Ryan, he's obviously going to play a major role in the big moves that the Falcons make. Like, for example, hiring Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski, when he was hired, people weren't too happy about it. You have people who are saying this was a bad hire. How can you hire a guy from Cleveland? How can you bring in someone who came in from a losing organization? And then you have other people saying this was a good hire. He has coaching experience. He's an offensive-minded guy. And then you have the idiots, like the pro-black idiots or the pro-black idiots. We need to boycott Arthur Smith and Matt Ryan. They keep bringing in these good old boys. They do the black man wrong. They did Raheem Morris wrong. They didn't even let him have a day after the season was over before they fired him. They immediately fired him after the game was over. So we need to boycott the Atlanta Falcons. Man, what the fuck, bro? What the fuck? How you gonna hire Kevin Stefanski, man? Come on, bro. Like, what the fuck? You gonna hire this lame ass nigga, man? What the man? Come on, bro. Like, we should have got Shador Sanders. You know what I'm saying? So, when Raheem Morris, who is black, who coached this team back-to-back seasons, went 8-9 back-to-back seasons in the first season, who was also brought back, by the way. But his first season coming back as the head coach went 8-9, but they were in control of the division and then had a collapse. And then this past season, still losing, still not being clutch in key moments. That was okay because he's black, right? And why do you want Shador Sanders? Because you think he'll be a good quarterback and he'll be a better quarterback than Penix, or do you want him just because he's black? And to talk about Kevin hating Shador and doing Shador wrong, I don't know. I don't know about all that. I don't think that's true. And of course, him mistreating Shador, he's racist. So I'm pretty sure people are saying that. I don't know about any of that. I don't really think it's true. I'm not really putting a whole lot of stock into that. But I like the hire. Now, I wanted Harbaugh, I wanted Tomlin, I wanted Clint Kubiak, and I wanted Stefanski. You know, those were the four guys that I wanted Atlanta to hire. Kevin Stefanski, he has coaching experience. He's an offensive-minded guy. Now, I am a little skeptical about him bringing over his offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees. You know, Cleveland's offense looked bad, but maybe Kevin feels like his scheme will work in Atlanta. And there was also talks in Cleveland that the owner or the general manager didn't really let Stefanski do what he wanted to do. He was constantly breathing down his neck. So maybe he feels that, okay, since I'm out of Cleveland, I'm going to bring my guy who I trust over to Atlanta. And Atlanta has some big-time playmakers. So maybe this will work. At the end of the day, I trust Matt Ryan. He looked at this offense, he looked at this team, and he felt that Kevin was the best fit for it. And maybe he wanted Clint Kubiak. Maybe he wanted some other popular coaching candidate, but they didn't want to come, or he felt that they wanted to wait a little longer, and maybe that spooked him because he thought that they had other good offers from other teams. I don't know. I just trust Matt. And all I can say is that let's just hope for the best. Let's see how this thing plays out. Okay? People are so quick to shit on a player or a coach. And then when they do good, it's like, oh yeah, I love this guy now. So let's just wait and see what happens. Kyle Pitts. It has been a bust. Kyle Bust Pitts. It has been a bust. Now, if you want to get mad at the coaching staff, if you want to get mad at Kyle, I think you can. When he got drafted, I kept hearing about this guy. He's a game changer, and he's a freak of nature, athletic playmaker, certified Hall of Famer, this and that. And I'm like, okay, I better see that, and I haven't seen it. I think that once he came to the league, he looked at Matt and said to himself, okay, I got Matt Ryan, right? Played very well. Then when Matt leaves, they go from Matt to Mariota to Ritter, and he's saying to himself, okay, I got Mariota and Ritter throwing me the football. That could have been the reason as to why he didn't play to his full potential. And yes, he does have some injury issues, but still, there has to be something going on for the coaching staff to not really utilize him a whole lot in the offense. Maybe there was something going on behind the scenes, but it could have been the fact that he just didn't want to play with Mariota and Ritter. And then when Kirk comes, I'm thinking, okay, Kirk is a better quarterback than Mariota and Ritter, so he'll play a lot better. Well, he didn't. He didn't really go 100% on his route running. He looked like he was jogging, and then once Penix comes in, he's got a little pep in his step. Okay, so does he like Penix now? Then this past season, he had some crucial drops in some games. After the Falcons get eliminated, now all of a sudden, he wants to play. Drake London goes down. Could it have been because Drake is the number one guy? He's been the number one guy in this offense for years. Could he have just been pouting because Drake is the number one option? Or does he want his money? I don't know. All I know is that I want him gone. Sayonara. Nice knowing you. Well, he could be a star somewhere else. Then go ahead and be a star somewhere else. And then Michael Penix. Michael Penix is young. Again, I was skeptical about this pick because he had ACL injuries. And it's hard for athletes to come back from that and be who they once was before they got injured. Michael Penix, the way he ended the season before this past season, people got excited. People wanted to see what he would do this season. They felt good because they felt like they had a franchise quarterback. And I thought he looked good at the beginning of this season, but then as the season went on, he started to have some bad performances. Not taking care of the football. He's not really an athletic guy. He is athletic enough to run for 4 or 5 yards when it's there, but he wouldn't do it. He's got to do a better job of making anticipatory throws. He missed Kyle Pitts a few times in the red zone this season. So, big picture, I think Penix should not play this season. I think he should not play this season. I think Kirk Cousins should come back, or if you can't get Kirk, try to go out and get a Malik Willis. Malik Willis is still young, and who knows? Maybe he'll look at this as an opportunity, as a fresh start, and say to himself, okay, I'm in Atlanta. I got another chance to be a franchise quarterback. I got Drake London. I got Bijan. I got a good offensive line. I got a good defense. And then maybe he'll bloom into something special. But if that doesn't happen, then you got to find a serviceable quarterback. Someone who's good enough to get you to the playoffs at least. And then while Penix is not playing, he's healing. He's working on his craft. He's trying to get NFL ready. And then once his number is called upon again, then he may be a much better quarterback. And hopefully Kevin Stefanski can work with him. I think coaching matters. I don't think the coaching staff that was around Penix was good for him. So he's got Kevin, an offensive-minded guy. Hopefully he'll bring the best out of Penix. Overall, this team, I think it's not too far behind. They show that they can hang with the best. They show that they can hang with the Patriots, who are going back to another Super Bowl, another fucking Super Bowl. God, they have the Rams, who they beat. The Colts at the time when they were hot. They just need to tighten a few screws, like special teams. Special teams cost you games as well. It was just as bad as the poor offensive play calling and the poor defensive execution when it came in big time moments. Too many missed field goals, too many kick returns that went half the distance or the entire way. You got to clean up on that stuff. So this video has gone on way too long. Please tell me what you think about the Falcons. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. That is it. I am out.